Hello, hello.
Hey, UK.
How is the UK doing?
How are you guys? We'll wait like 30 seconds and then we'll get started.
We're gonna wait and see if people pop on. Wow, my head looks shiny in this video.
It's the light.
The light's so bright
Jenny.
above us
Hey,
that hello everybody. If you can hear us, just give us like a thumbs up. That you can hear us. I'm gonna dim this a little bit.
Okay.
It's making my head look really shiny.
Shiny head. I think that's a little better. Ooh. Hey, Penny. Actually, it's pretty bright. Hi, guys. Oh, they can hear us. Hi,
Everybody
Stevie.
can hear us. Hello, Penny, Stevie. How is everybody doing?
Yay. All right. Hey guys, we are actually going to get rocking and rolling. Hey, Joe, how are you? Hey, UK. Thank you guys for hopping on. It's always nutty this time of day at the Atkins home, so it is shiny.
Yeah,
So
it's
you
my
see
head.
shiny.
I almost should put a hat on.
It's the light. The light's right above us. It's fine. We're good.
Okay.
We're good. All right. We are excited to talk to you guys today, and always so grateful and humbled when being asked by Laura and Thomas to hop on here. We are in the presence of amazing coaches, and we are so proud to be one of the teams that has an amazing UK team too. There's some of our people. So we are really super excited to talk to you guys today. What we're going to be talking about is something really important, and it's really, if you're familiar with the 5-step invitation process when you're inviting people to join you in your challenge groups, step 2 is the step where it's time to slow down and find out exactly what your prospective client needs and wants, and tapping into that. And we're going to go through some questions. We call it interview process, although it's not like being interrogated by a cop. We're going to go through some of the things that we ask people in order to kind of dig a little deeper into their goals and their why. But first, we want to share a little bit about who we are, in case you don't know who we are.
So just wanted again to say thank you to Laura and Tom for allowing us to come on. Truly grateful for Beachbody UK, everybody in corporate, for Kristen and I to come share our story. So again, my name is David Atkins. This is my wife, Kristen Atkins. I am a 2-time elite 8-star diamond coach, and Kristen is an elite 6-star diamond coach. We are, wow, I don't even know where to begin. We have 3 daughters, ages 13, 10, and 7. We were able to retire Kristen from her full-time career of being a teacher 3.5 years ago.
Thanks to coaching.
Thanks to coaching. And I right now still work full-time with the New York State Police. I'm a captain with the New York State Police Department and overlook all state police operations for an entire county here in New York. I actually hit 20 years this past Friday.
It's a big celebration.
A big celebration. But just a little bit about us with the business and then kind of our backstories, and then Kristen's going to take over again, is that with the business, it's completely changed our life. Like Kristen and I were, and the income disclaimer, we'll drop it in the comments. Maybe Tom or Thomas or Laura want to drop the income disclaimer. We were over $100,000 in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, struggling, trying to get by, having to always look about how much money we could, afford to go and spend on groceries. And it was a struggle, caused a lot of stress in our marriage. And thanks to Beachbody, we were able to grow this business to a point where we paid off $100,000 in debt in 2 years. Thanks to Beachbody. So we paid off all our debt. Our business outgrew Kristen's income as a school teacher, and she had her master's degree plus 60 credits. And we were able to retire Kristen to come home, to be home with our girls, and to be a full-time coach. And I'm hoping in the foreseeable future, within the next couple of years, to be able to retire and be a full-time coach as well. But our journey really started back being customers. I mean, I was the gym guy that said, I'm never ever gonna do any at-home workout programs. Like I can't work out to a DVD back in the day, and I need to go to the gym. And I ran New York City Marathon twice, and reluctantly, a buddy of mine finally got me to try P90X back in 2010. And I was on high blood pressure medications, and I was 25 pounds overweight. And at the same time, Kristen struggled with the baby weight, trying to lose the baby weight.
50 pounds. 50
pounds from having our daughters. And at the time, we only had 2 daughters, and they were babies. But we were finally willing to give it a shot to do P90X. and it completely changed our life. And then we started drinking Shakeology, and my blood pressure dropped, and our health got to another level, and we were absolutely blown away by it, that I was no longer on pills for high blood pressure medications, and Kristen lost all the baby weight. And the way it started for us is because I really believe in a side nugget. You have to be the best customer product of the product, right? Vital behavior number 2, if you want to be successful in this business. Because when you have emotions attached to these products that are so amazing, that move you and change your life, it is so natural for you to go out and share it with other people because you feel good. You are so natural to go out there and talk about it because of what it's done for you. And then the business becomes easier because it becomes part of your life. If you are not a product of the product and drinking your Shakeology and doing the performance line and working out, it's a struggle. But for us, I just share our life, you know? So for us, we were customers first that loved the products and started sharing it on social media because it changed our life, and we wanted to pay it forward to help other people. And early on, it was just to, you know, pay for our Shakeology. And then it became, oh, let's maybe pay our car payment, or let's start paying off this little credit card. And we would have never thought that in only a couple of years, it would have grown and morphed into what it is today, to a team of almost 2,000 coaches that we lead. And we have a handful of coaches in the United Kingdom, and we have coaches here, we have coaches in Canada, and this business has changed our life. So in this training, we really want to drive home, and Kristen came up with the idea, the importance of building relationships and the importance of not rushing the process, but trusting the process. Again, I'm going to repeat that again, not rushing the process, but trust in the process, because we tend to get so excited, and when people want to learn more about what we're doing, we tend to, as what we call it, vomit on them and give them too much information, and then we talk people out of it, right? So it's important to slow down and to really dive into step 2, as we call it, which is getting the person's why and learning more about them.
Okay, so Dave kind of touched on a little bit of what I'm going to talk about, but you're going to hear a lot of kind of the same sayings over and over again, especially, you know, it's new in the UK. So these are the things you're going to be hearing, right? This business is about building relationships. Nobody is going to buy your product until they buy into you, the coach, right? They need to feel a connection. They need to feel that you have their best interests at heart and that you're not here looking to, you know, make some money off of them, right? Which a lot of other businesses that sell products, that's what they do, right? Like our job is very different with as coaches because we change lives. And so that is huge. So what you have to understand is people want to feel that you are invested in them. So your job as the coach is to build trust and rapport with the people that you speak to, right? So through social media, through people you see in real life, you want to build the rapport and get to know them the best that you possibly can. So you go and you talk to them, and then you invite them to a challenge group, and then they say, tell me more. And you're like, oh my God, now what? Right?
And can I just add something to that? Because I'm going to be, Kristen, as we have great points, but like, if we're all selling the same products and we're selling the same Shakeology and the same programs, what's going to separate you from somebody else?
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's you as the coach. And there's that saying, and you may have heard it or may not, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Right. So you really have to dive into what we're giving now and saying how important it is to dive into building that relationship with them. Okay.
So if somebody says they're interested once you invite them, the very first thing that they might say is, how much is it, right? Or, what's involved? Tell me what's involved. And it's very easy to get very caught up in that, especially if somebody is excited and you are excited as well, to want to kind of go, okay, well, you're going to need this thing called the challenge pack, and you're going to be in this amazing group with all these amazing people. And you know what, guys? You're going to lose them from this first word. So this is where, and I want you to write this down, and this is something I had to learn early on too, is slow your roll. Yeah. Slow down right here. And then Stevie, you're going to slow down this process right here, and you're going to control the conversation. You're going to be kind of guiding them and explaining to them what you're going to be doing. I want you to think of yourself as being a doctor, okay? If somebody comes into your office as a doctor and they're sick, your job is to say, okay, well, do you have a fever, right? When did this begin? Do you have any ear aches? Do you have a stomach ache? You're going to ask about all of these, their symptoms. You need to get a background before you can make a diagnosis, right? We're the same way as coaches. We need to understand what people need, what they want, what they're struggling with, what they tried, right? And where they are mentally to see if this is a good fit for them. And our job as the coach is to connect them with their healthy solution. And the only way to do that is to say, okay, I'm gonna ask you a few questions so I can better understand where you're at and where you want to go, so I know how to best serve you as your coach.
Now, I want to add to that. I think it's very, very important, before even this, if we were to back up everybody, I personally, and I know Kristen does, and a lot of our team, you shouldn't even be at the inviting process and be in this conversation before you've built the relationship. Like, my golden rule in my own head is I need to be connecting with these people for at least 2 weeks. Finding that common bridge before I even invite them to a challenge group. What is the common bridge? Like, we have kids. Maybe it's another mom and dad have kids. Our daughter plays ice hockey and softball and they're in dance. Maybe their kids are in sports. And we just have conversation to build the relationship. Because I think what so often is people just invite people they haven't spoken to before, straight off the bat.
Yucky.
Or people invite people that they haven't spoken to in 10, 15 years.
Yucky.
And it's yucky. And I don't like to cold invite people. I don't do it. I've never done it. And it just doesn't work, especially now. People will know if you're just inviting them. Again, like I said, people don't care how much you know till you know how much you care. So when you start connecting with somebody, give yourself, I'm going to give you a rule of thumb right now, at least 2 weeks, which is about 3 conversations. Your initial conversation, maybe you're touching base with them in a week, and then a week later, maybe then you're sending an invite. But you have to build the rapport in the relationship, find that common ground, that bridge, that connective tissue that's gonna create conversation with them before you get to the invite.
Okay. Yes. So thank you for that background. So you did the invite and now they say, well, how much is it? Okay. So at this point, you're going to say, like I just said, I'm going to ask you a few questions. I want to share all the information I can with you, but I really want a good idea of where you're at and where you want to go so I can best serve you as your coach. Is that okay? Okay. So we're going to start there. Now, we have created a list of a few questions, more than a few questions, to use as a guide, okay? No problem, Cassandra. We're going to give these to you. We're going to give these to you. I'll give them to Laura and Thomas after the call. But so you can use these as a guide to slow your conversation down and tell the person you're going to ask them some questions. And I always tell people that up front, just so they understand, like, what's coming. And this week, I call this an interviewing process, but it's not an interrogation, and it shouldn't be like you blasting them with question after question after question. It's a conversation. Right. All right. So if you, there's a few different ways you can do it, whatever way you feel comfortable with. You can message them through, Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger. I like Facebook Messenger better because you can do voice message. And I think that's much more personal. In fact, some people on Instagram, I might say, are you happen to be on Facebook? I'd like to voice message you. And if not, no big deal. You can create a questionnaire, or you can get on the phone and call them and go through.
Do it scary.
Yeah, do it scary. But having that conversation is important because when you're able to talk to somebody through these questions, you can put in points that are relatable to what they're talking about, right? Like if they're talking about their struggles, you can be like, I had the same struggle, or I was skeptical about the same thing. So it's a conversation. It's not interrogating. It's not blasting people. So some of the main questions, I think I went through everything I wanted to, right? Some of the main questions have to do with, I have different categories that you hit on, okay? Goals and struggles are always number one. You need to find out what they want, and you need to find out where they struggle the most. Because this, right now, I know before you were a doctor, now I'm going to make you a lawyer. So you are a lawyer building your case, because what happens is a lot of newer coaches will say, everybody tells me they can't afford it. They won't do Shakeology. They don't have the time, So a lot of objections. We get a lot of objections, right? If you spend your time here, you will lessen the amount of objections you're getting, because again, you're building a case. They're going to give you lots of information that at the end you can later on use and say, well, you told me this, so I'll go through it.
Right, because I just want to say that it's never a price objection, it's a value objection. Mm-hmm. People don't see the value in what they're getting. I can tell you right now, I think for what people get through Beachbody On Demand, and Shakeology and the group, it is a steal. And your posture has to believe in that. That's wholeheartedly how I believe, what I believe. I rarely get price objections. And if I do, it's because I didn't do a good enough job of probably diving into what Kristen's talking about, what we're talking about, getting to know what their struggles are, getting to know what their pain points are, getting to know how I can help them best. Because when you spend the time there and they recognize how much you care, and then you plug them in with the solution of what we have to offer, you not much less often, but less often will get the objections of price and other things if you spend the time building your, not case, but you're building that relationship and finding out their goals.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so the first thing I would ask is, what would you say your main goals are at the moment with regards to your own health and fitness? And what would you say your biggest struggle is? If they just throw back at you something like, I want to lose 2 stone, you know, I'll say, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Tell me, you know, do you want to tone up? Do you want to, you know, is it just weight loss? Like, and what is your struggle? You need to find out what those struggles are.
Tell me more about that. Write that down.
Yeah, tell me more about that, right. If it's a vague answer, tell me more about that so you can, again, have a conversation going, okay? Now, the next part is kind of where we're going to talk a little bit about reflection and emotions. Now, when you are dealing with people who are looking to get healthy, looking to lose weight, there is always emotion attached to that, right? Like if they've struggled for a long time, if they've tried other things, they might be a little jaded, right? They might be, they might think this may not work because so many other things that they have done in the past haven't worked, right? So always keep that in mind. What have you done? This is really important. What have you done on your own up until now to try to achieve your goals? Or alleviate the struggles of, and then you'll fill in their goals and their struggles that they already told you. And has it worked for you? Why or why not? Really, really, really important, because this is for them to go, all right, well, I've tried Slimming World and I've tried, you know, the workouts on my own at the gym. Hi. And I always end up quitting. I always end up stopping. I do well in the beginning and then I end up stopping. All right, so that right there is information that can be useful to you, because it's clear then that they need accountability. They need support. And what do we have in our groups?
Support
and accountability. So now is when you connect the emotion. So then you can take what they shared with you. If you were able to achieve, you know, losing 2 stones and toning up, how would that feel? What would change for you? So connecting the emotion and almost having them envision themselves achieving those goals later on, what would change? What would be different? You know, you probably would have more energy, right? You'd feel good. You can keep up with your family. You fit into your clothes and feel confident. There are so many things that they can share with you for them to kind of envision themselves achieving those goals once and for all, right? Now we talk about nutrition. I can't stress how important this is, especially for UK, because you guys have Shakeology and it's only been around for 1 year. It's a baby. So you have a lot of people skeptical about Shakeology right now, right? Like, what is that? Another powder drink? You know, you might have other shakes that people compare them to at this point. So your job right now is to get deep into nutrition. Tell me a little bit about what your daily nutrition looks like and what is your biggest struggle in that area. That's going to be very telling, because most people who have weight loss goals struggle with nutrition, because we all know that fitness and nutrition go hand in hand, right? They can work out and do insanity until the cows come home, but if their nutrition is not focused and they're not working on that, you know that the results aren't going to be there. So this is really a key factor, especially for you guys. So you get their struggles, telling you what their nutrition looks like. It's going to be very telling when they tell you how they eat or what their struggles are. Another great question. Are you open to trying new healthy options when it comes to your nutrition in order to achieve your goal of, again, fill in their goal? You have to keep taking what their goals are and filling them back in with the information that you're asking them. Okay, because again, you want them to envision themselves achieving that goal with you as their coach, right? How are your energy levels on a daily basis, and how often do you eat out? Another important factor, because you're going to hear a lot of objections about money, right? Especially with Shakeology. Oh, Shakeology's so expensive. Well, if they've already told you that they eat out 2 to 3 times a week, you can share with them later on, well, if you cut back on that 2 times dining out, you already saved the money for your shakes for the entire week. So there you go, right? It replaces a meal. So this is what I'm saying when you're kind of building your case, you're kind of getting information for how you can help them fill in their healthy solution. And then going to support and motivation. And these are kind of just thoughts to throw out there. Do you feel that having daily motivation, support, and accountability would benefit you to achieving your goals? I think most people would say, yeah, of course, right? To keep me going, I would need that, sure. Do you agree that a healthy lifestyle takes time, patience, and consistency, and a positive attitude? Most people would agree, right? You want them to understand this is not a fad. This is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle. This is something that you need to be patient with and consistent with and keep showing up day after day. As long as you're getting that into their minds early on, then that's a great way that you can segue later on. And lastly, do you believe your own health and fitness goals and well-being is a priority at this time? Because I will tell you, sometimes you speak to people that just clearly are not ready. And that's okay. You need to be okay with people that finally do say no to you, right? Because we always say that a no is a not right now, right? But you want to make sure that the people you're talking to, if they're saying, yes, this is my priority right now, then you can go on and say, you are a perfect candidate for one of my groups. And then you can move on with your process.
So I just want to say, you may say, oh my God, this is so many questions. I'm going to be talking to somebody for like 6 hours straight.
Six years.
Listen, this is the thing. I open the door by just saying, tell me a little bit more about you and your goals. And the more I know about you, the better I can help you and point you in the right direction. I'll say that again because I've said it so much. Tell me a little bit more about you and your goals. The more I know about you, the better I can help you and point you in the right direction. Now, based on their answer, you then can find what is applicable to continue on the conversation here. Because Kristen gave you a lot of great points, but I don't want you to think you need to go through all 12 of these questions, okay? You need to, based on the general question I gave to dig for their goals, they're going to respond back. If it's still vague, you just say, tell me more about that. Guys, write that down. Star it. Tell me more about that because that will get them to elaborate on what their goals or what their struggles are. Then based on that, you can use this as a go-by as some great questions to maybe dive into whether it's just regular goals and struggles, you know, whether it's getting to their emotions, their nutrition, or this lack of support that they had in their life.
Yep.
So this is a great tool and resource for you. But again, don't get caught up in, oh my God, I got to ask all of this. If you were to take a step back, bird's eye view in this training, the most important thing is that you invest your time into them. All right, be more interested and less interesting. Right. Okay, I'll say it again. Be more interested, less interesting. Meaning be more interested in them. All right, let them do the talking. Okay, you ask questions, let them talk. Let them talk. Tell me more about that. Right. And then from there, you can move on to step 3. And if you guys want, we have a 5-step invitation process video for our team that goes through steps 1, 2, we just kind of went over, 3, 4, and 5. If you want, beside this, we can drop it in the comments below. Just comment that you would like to see that. If you want to see it, we'll put that link in there for you guys as well to help out. But I think that overall, I think that's my main point from a bird's eye view is to dive into that.
And just one more thing I want to add. And then if anyone has any questions, you can type them. We can take a couple of questions if you have any.
Yep.
But yeah, so like Dave said, I do not ask every single question here. You go based on the conversation you're having with the person, and just use this as a guideline. But do not rush past this step. This is, you may have a conversation going for a week or so with this person, and be okay with that. Because if you rush the process to try to get to the end, to this sale, you will lose somebody because they will feel that and they will understand that, oh, okay, maybe I'm just a sale to this person. Right. Really dig deep so you can connect somebody with their healthy solution, okay? And if somebody is really, giving you a lot of pushback, guys, get them into BOD. Just get them in so you can start helping them. Because a lot of times Beachbody does a great job with their marketing and sharing Shakeology and Performance Line and all that in the videos. So that part is already done. So if you're struggling trying to get someone to join you, just say, do BOD with me. Like, let's do a program together. Let's get started on Show on T because Transform 20 is coming. But your job honestly is spending the most time getting to know your prospective clients so they feel the love and they feel the support and they're going to trust you. And even if they're not ready right then and there, they're going to remember how much time and effort you put into them. And when they are ready, they're going to come back to you. I promise.
Now listen, this is the thing. I'm going to challenge all of you right now. You know, knowledge without applying it means nothing. It's applied knowledge that's power. And I think so often people at the start stop them, and you're taking all this information and you want it just to be perfect. You're only going to improve and get better by making mistakes, by struggling and failing. And if you want your business to be in a different place 30 days from now, it's going to require you to get out of your comfort zone, to get out of your routine, get out of your habits, and to start doing things you never done, right? They always say if you want something you never had, you have to be willing to do things you've never done, right? And if you want to live the life you want to live, then you got to be doing the things that most people aren't willing to do. Okay, so with that, we're giving you this information. Don't think, oh, I'm going to mess up. I didn't ask the right questions. Oh my goodness, I rushed this conversation. I lost that person. That's okay. That's how you learn. You live and learn, right? Les Brown says if you fall down on your back, you can look up, which means you can stand up, right? So take what we're giving you and just start. Take that first step forward, right? Have that one conversation, slow it down, and eventually you'll be doing this in your sleep, kind of like how we've shared a lot of this off the top of our minds because we have done it so much, but you only get better at it by doing it. And I don't want you to let fear creep in because you absolutely can blow this business up. In UK, everybody in the UK, you have untapped potential in you, and there is so much opportunity. Like with Transform 20 coming out, with how big Shaun T is, like you can turn your business around overnight, but it starts with making a decision. It starts with saying, I'm not comfortable with where I am in my life right now. I'm not comfortable with where I am with my bank account right now. And if you set your priorities in order and the desire for change is stronger than the desire to stay the same, you will make it happen, right? Because otherwise, if it's not a priority, it becomes an excuse. So take what we're giving you, take what corporate gave you, take what you got from Thomas, and take what you got from everybody else in corporate and invest in this because this business can be life-changing.
Absolutely. I think that's it. If there's no questions, we're going to hop off and go grab our third daughter off the bus.
Let's just quickly
Thanks,
say
Penny.
All right, no, I don't know if there's any questions. No.
I don't think so.
Nope.
You are all amazing, amazing, amazing. You're welcome, Tanlin. We will give you the PDF of this to use as your guide. And by the way, Beachbody does have something similar in the Coach Online office. This is just my version of it. Right. And we will also drop our video of the 5-step invitation process that we made for our team. Hey, Jenny. And we will drop that below. You're welcome, guys. Thanks for hopping on with us. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening, and we will talk to you all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.